In the plot of the drama, Susie appears visibly tense and quite confused by the unfolding situation. An assistant steps in and begins to explain the details of the Egyptian manager's contract, along with the advance payment terms. This explanation leaves Susie feeling even more bewildered and unsure about the circumstances. A while ago, she was in her office and it was nighttime. She was completing her assignments and tasks for the day before, and how did she suddenly end up here in the morning? But as soon as she hears the name here, she understands that it is neither of the main lead of 9 here. So she starts looking at all the advances, which is one marriage contract for 2 years, where after 2 years there will be a brother-in-law between them, i.e. Susie and Mr. Go. Susie is shocked to learn her name, and that Wicket was also the one who did all the work of the novel. And she knows the full story of this novel. This young woman is in a contractual marriage with Mr. Go. This same girl attempted to seduce Mr. Go by secretly putting drugs into his drink, which Sim later discovered. Mr. Go went to the extent of taking her life, leaving her completely terrified and in a state of utter horror. She was dead. Now Susie doesn't know how she got into Noble, and when she dies, she'll go to the real world. It's true that she had no idea about things. No, it's less here. He begins to tell her the fees from this point. Upon hearing this, Suji is shocked and realizes that even if she works for a decade at the company, they still won't be able to earn as much as she will in that same period. Suji promptly agrees, and then she heads to her home, where all the staff gather to warmly welcome her. With a respectful tone, Cesium tells him, "Listen, there's really no need for you to keep calling me man all the time here. You can simply use my usual name and take a break." At the same time, he thinks to himself, "You just got here, yet it hasn't even been a full day, and already you're acting like you're the queen of this house. I'll do whatever I feel like doing." Susie just doesn't understand the purpose behind doing anything at all here. It has been happening. She totally veers away from the subject. Just when Kos is about to step forward, Susie decides to wander off by herself. Kos then asks, "What exactly are you doing?" The contract clearly stated that we must keep a distance of at least 3 kilometers apart. So I am keeping my distance from you, and not just 3 kilometers, but I believe staying 5 or even 10 kilometers away would be much better for both of us and for my peace of mind. She is expressing that she needs to spend 2 years in peace and love, and she must manage her finances during this time. Meanwhile, she is also communicating with the other person, asking what they are talking about. So I chose to remain silent and said nothing. And Go couldn't comprehend why Susie was acting this way. She had never behaved like this with him before. It seemed she had completely transformed. What was truly surprising was that Mr. Go used to be able to hear Susie's inner voice. But now he's on the phone, and it's possible he's hallucinating due to his heavy workload. He's determined to find out next time if he can really hear things, or if Susie starts sitting quietly after hearing them. We'll explore more about that later. Listen, I understand that you can't do it, but first, you need to be a good girl and make sure to do it. That's the question worth $30 million. As he was departing, he could hear Mr. Goles's voice echoing back. "What?" Susie says, "I didn't say anything. I'm just sitting here quietly and relaxing." Then Ko confirms that he can indeed hear Susie's thoughts. Susie begins to say, "I'm just sitting here quietly and relaxing." You have a mental problem here, where you're hearing voices in your head, or you're having a lot of voices in your head, and you're thinking, "I'm talking." He ignores her and walks away, thinking he'll have to keep a close eye on Suji. Then Duty goes to the other side, and then she goes to the tartar table. There were tattle dishes prepared there, and the sight of them makes her mouth water. Suji was about to eat them. Then Mr. Ko has not come here yet, and he is of the family, so I should not start eating, and she goes there to wait. As soon as Mr. Ko is there, later she goes here and sits right in front of me. And here, while revising the rules according to the contract, she was telling me that according to the contract and the rules, you should sit away from me, which I am doing here right now. So he said that it seems he has taken the rules a little too seriously. This other one here makes Susie feel upset. Here's your... She is lying beside Go, while Aunt Tally is sitting far away, making it impossible for her to eat one fresh in this spot. He listens to her thoughts and kindly invites her to join him by sitting closer. Susie joyfully runs over to them, leaving her to enjoy her meal in peace. She starts doing it, and in her mind she continues talking about the food and how tasty the dishes are. At this point, Mystic Gugo Hasia begins to perform, and it becomes definitively clear that the individual who previously brought Suji to life here is entirely different. He senses that perhaps Suji was merely putting on a show for everyone, yet in reality, she is a completely different person internally, as her inner voice isn't resonating with him. Meanwhile, the other Suji, referred to as Tanj, is feeling burned, and comments that you haven't eaten anything yet, pointing out that your body is changing, becoming more wifely. As she places her hand on him, she suddenly becomes aware that Mistake is quite muscular. This realization intrigues her, and she makes the decision to proceed with her actions. She starts feeling it. Money, you are saying that if it is actually present right here. If it is truly that challenging, then it won't happen just from two. Today, right here, she begins to imagine about that very same thing. He asks him, "What are you doing?" Sasha apologizes, saying, "I was thinking about it, and that's why I forgot what I was doing." Then she leaves from here. After all of this, even then, here, where the listeners have created it for their terrace husband. And additionally, also on the side, she is proudly displaying her skills and confidently stating that today, without a doubt, she will manage to impress Ku right here. He then begins to explain to her that today, she must have captured such an impressive photograph, one that she has been working on diligently for the past 3 days. He will return it in 3 days. Suji agrees and tells him to take it safely. He explains that this is a business trip for 3 days, but it doesn't mean he'll be going home at night. He plans to return after 3 days. Suji acknowledges, saying she understands the business trip means money, and asks if he'll be leaving in the morning for 3 days. After that, if he's with Mr. Goal, he will focus on business while staying with him. She must be bringing it home comfortably without any hassle. He begins to say, "You look a bit too happy here." That's when Susie realizes she shouldn't be happy. She should appear sad. So she starts pretending to be sad and continues in that manner. There are many here. She apologizes, saying, "I completely forgot that we would actually have the chance to be together for these 3 days." As she says this, she even pretends to cry. "Honestly, your acting is quite terrible. If I had left, he would have thought Gio was a fool." Afterward, he leaves and she begins making jaggery. Then he departs from here and Suji starts playing games. Here, she has one partner with whom she always matches. This time, that partner was locking out here a little too quickly. The series begins to ask, then, that's it. My brother's married to a really wonderful girl, and I must say, I genuinely like the way she looks. She has a certain charm and presence that is quite appealing. It's not just about her appearance, but also the way she carries herself with grace and confidence. I truly appreciate her style and demeanor. Yes, I truly do like that girl very much. Unfortunately, they were compelled to marry each other. Why is Susie feeling the fire's reply sensation? She says that in going, "You both love one another," that's the only thing that really matters. Then his partner adds, "There isn't any clear definition of love between them. And I'm aware of it. I'll have a conversation with him about it," after which she locks herself out. Susie begins to wonder what to do next, as she's generally getting quite bored with it. Then she gets the idea. Why not? He played games with stars at his place. Even when he asked them to sit, they refused. And BKC was the spot for everything. Suji says it's against the rules, but I'll create my own rules from now on. They explain that when here, if they come, they won't like it. Suji says, "Why won't you come? You're all doing it here today with my permission." He makes everyone sit. It appears that today will feel like 2 days, and even our meals will be brought in. We'll spend the whole day in France, having a great time, dining, enjoying ourselves, and engaging in games. There's absolutely no need to worry. Friends, 2 days here are now complete, and the morning has come. It has indeed been 2 full days here. Forget it. Not even one message has come through. He's pondering over paying taxes on something. He simply thinks that if she doesn't pay taxes, then what am I supposed to do with taxes? At that moment, the assistant arrives and shows the photos taken here, where everyone is joyfully playing games. Seoho didn't have any issue with this situation. However, Suji can't seem to remember Seoho. Surely the assistant doesn't appear to think that way, and you probably don't think so either. It's been a whole 2 days since he left, and during this entire time, he hasn't bothered to call or send a single text message. Meanwhile, the assistant is in a state of panic. He says that they're not imprisoning you because you might be involved with them as a side chick. He begins to exclaim, "Stop with the nonsense. This is impossible. We shouldn't jump to conclusions here. Susie isn't the type of girl to do something like that. Forget about all that. What I really wanted to do is check the intention here. There are 2 things that are really important to me." Then, right here, Joji is reflecting on himself. His days of fun and enjoyment have come to an end. He'll return tomorrow, but he'll need to be cautious and afraid to come back with Prakan just in case something goes wrong. Then, Joji recalls that he is a workaholic, tirelessly working day and night. This implies he'll be attending numerous stages here in the upcoming 60s. So how could Joji possibly forget those days? Looking ahead, Joji will also be here in the future. She's about to get a break. Meanwhile, Susie here. She receives a phone call from her workplace, and her boss is shouting, "What's the matter with you? It's almost been an entire week. How could you leave without any notice, and for such a long period?" At that moment, Susie recalls all the challenges she's faced with this blog and in her personal life. In her quest for enjoyment, she seems to have overlooked the fact that the main lead also holds a significant category in this context. Some people here believe that if I start working, I won't fully grasp the tasks, and the influence of ISIS is evident in my hospital. It will also affect, yes. Soho has an exceptionally strong reputation. If anyone discovers that I'm his wife and that I'm frequently involved in various random activities, people might criticize him even when he's not at work. This could potentially put his reputation at risk as well. Then all the money that I have here will end up going down the drain. Then they might think she'll take control of the contract and begin telling them what to do. What if she overhears this? He was surprised and said, "Susie, do you want to make the contract by the minute? You really don't want to handle the contract in the right way. It's as if I've been working at the company for quite a long time now, so there are moments when I find myself needing to make the commitment on my own." "Don't insist, sir. I don't know which company you're going to join or which company it is and what they're offering you. You're here. We need to discuss marriage." Susie insists that's not true, as I'm already married. He advises her that I should save money so I can return and discover who you truly are. Not there. She is indifferent towards her work. The other individual here returns home in the morning and discovers Suji is not around. He attempts to inquire with the staff, yet they are unable to inform him of her whereabouts. Additionally, the staff informs everyone that, just like us here, your wife is very different from the things I've heard about mean or glitter. She was respectful to us and treated us as if we were her family. Furthermore, we also have Suji with us, who does not belong to the Vade family. I don't have any sugar. Mini 9 Milli is married. Jaha says that it's unbelievable to think you can actually be married for a whole 9 months. The girl, who is incredibly dedicated to her work, to the point where she's been contemplating marriage, suddenly comes forward with an announcement. She reveals that she actually got married just a week ago. I can't quite process this information. We come to learn that Susie is the one who runs the One Orphan organization, taking on the responsibility of treating the child as if it were her very own. And listen, Didi, he worked hard to produce steel here, earning money to support children in need. One of the children required surgery urgently, and he wanted to help. Susie was here as well, sharing the details with you. My brother, who is very dear to me, is in terrible condition. He's extremely ill and constantly in the hospital, where I'm in dire need of getting him the surgery he requires. You understand how expensive hospital bills have become these days, and paying them off can take what feels like a lifetime. So during that period, my husband arrived here as my support. He offered me some financial help, and without hesitation, I accepted his offer. With that money, I can help my younger brother who is here. At this moment, he begins to think, and in the meantime, Suji wants to proceed with that task. However, I have other work to attend to as well. As she begins to leave, she assures me that no matter what happens, she won't easily fire me from the job. When Suji exits from there, a strange person with a distinct color returns here. Suji is unable to recognize him at this point. Then that person begins to say that now, don't act here and you don't really know who I am. After that, Suji remembers that he is actually here. Starting from this moment onward, I wouldn't let Susie go. So today, after seeing a glimpse of her here, he says that if you wanted to go on a date, then I should.
I used to do that. I would pay this tax. I understand that you feel embarrassed in this situation, but it's perfectly okay. I'm definitely not refusing you in any way. What an interesting way to come and catch a glimpse of me. Yes, Suji mentioned, look, I am married. If you close your mind, it will be much better. Upon hearing this, he had the same thought again, that there must be some kind of sugar mill here. That's the reason you're expressing such things without feeling any shame. Living in this situation, Suji says, it doesn't matter to me if he's old, young, or anyone else, but at least I'm happy here in my own life. Are you happy too? Fleming remarked. She becomes extremely upset. She was on the verge of shouting at him in rage while he was in the car, and the assistant begins by asking why she appears to be a young lady, and as they notice her sleeping here, he quickly approaches her. Suji asks, Gusu, what are you doing here? Hearing this name, his mind begins to spin. He responds, you are Gushomi Gokni's print, and then points out Suji's key. He says, look carefully. Do you still see the old? This is my husband. Do you want to say something now? At this point, Billy comments that such a significant responsibility has been placed in Suji's hands here. I am paying me right here. This is Sinti. He gives the money and starts leaving from there with Suji. I am sorry, Suji. The distance of the car is not according to the rules of the agreement, so I will come in another cab. Sue says, please do not limit yourself to these rules and regulations of the car. Sit here quietly, after which she says this and sits down. When they were sitting in the car, you were doing your work. Suji asks him that what were you doing here at this place? Then you start telling her that I continued on my journey, and as I progressed further, I happened to see Suji along the path. He was supposed to return after 3 days. By this time, his desk was already complete. However, he mentioned that he would not be happy staying here for much longer. That's why I came back early. Suji says that this is not a good thing. I am not happy to see you. Meanwhile, he starts asking her whether Suji is free for today or not. Suji tells that she is free. Then he wanted to take her to his old house. Maniman here. Suji gets excited that she will go to her old house where she used to sleep. She will definitely get it, and this is the place where Suji can truly showcase her skills, her mother's place. While Suji is listening to all the conversations happening around, she notices Suho. In her mind, she thinks about how Suho really spends every single minute of his life working diligently. That's why he earns so much money here. And look, even after putting in so much work, his body is very skilled and his face is quite handsome. I just want to touch him here once. After hearing so many things, Suji tells herself to stay calm here, and then Suji says, did I just say something?
I don't know. I just got frustrated working like this, so I spoke up. Susie said, it's okay. It's better to take a break. Otherwise you can go crazy from working. There is a coconut where the uncle of the morning was, and along with that here his uncle strongly opposed this marriage, expressing his disapproval openly. Sue also had her own opinions on the matter, which she shared with others. Vidya, how could she have gotten married here without our permission? And in this situation, the girl has no backing. If she had come here, she would have started a firestorm. She says that she heard rumors about that girl, and everyone is saying that she is having an affair with some old man. Now, how would they know that everyone is thinking that old man to be that person? Meanwhile, Suho and Suji come back here where Suho and Suji sing, be careful, there should be no mistakes. We should look exactly like husband and wife here. Then they start coming inside the house where Suji gets instantly impressed after seeing such a massive house. The girl, who is sitting here, begins to feel that maybe she is here to listen to the thoughts of Suokik's Kalfnoki Sos and to receive a gentle whisper in her ears. That girl is my cousin Teji, and she is related to my uncle and... Right. But then it suddenly clicks again in my mind. Does Shuko somehow know what I was thinking about? He warmly greets each person as they leave. He was furious. She exclaimed, "Do not refer to me as Dat." Susie added, "Uncle, this also upsets me during the night." Moreover, there is a fan of his. She soothes him. Then, following Susie, she mentions that Susie is even more stunning than the picture on her medal certificate. She begins to offer Susie her handmade braces and a set of braces with green gloves, which Susie declines. Auntie says, "If you don't take them now, you'll end up taking less of me later." "Yes, my mother-in-law gave it to me, and you have every right to roll it too." Soo-hee tells Suji the same thing. Suji then unbuttons the iron here, and Daisy was about to check it. She gets upset when she sees Auntie sitting there with her. As soon as the girl arrives, she puts her black dress on Auntie, and she does so completely. Here, the Auntie looks so much like a government official, and also look carefully, this girl does not look very young. Anyway, this is the right time to start thinking about children. And so also future, and Sheldon Flanagan, hearing this here? Sujit, you mean that I should get pregnant right here now? Auntie has said this is the best time. Hearing this here, Suji gets surprised. Auntie said, "What are you so excited about?" "Don't you want to share this with the ancestor while the entire family is present?" Even though we're all sitting here with high hopes, Susie starts to feel a bit anxious and doesn't have an answer. Then the next morning she approaches and says, "Auntie, listen, it's a personal issue," she explains. "One husband and wife can make a decision together. I am not staying here until my wife is present." Upon hearing this, Auntie was about to comment. Barsunsi interjects, saying, "Why solve your marital issues here? I've heard and noticed at the company that Uncle is getting quite close to someone here." Upon hearing such words, Uncle Super begins to shout, saying, "Don't impose such severe restrictions on me. She is merely a child here. Consider her as your daughter." After hearing this, even Andi decides to leave her Hassan here. Mom manages to calm everyone down. She says, "Susie is here for the very first time today, and you're all already arguing with each other. Let's go and get some lunch. I'm feeling really hungry. But let's take a moment to sit down and enjoy our lunch together." When everyone gathers around the table to have their lunch, the Desi semolina truly becomes the star of the meal. I need to address the semolina's laziness, ensuring that everyone can see that Sue and I are both exceptional and complement each other perfectly in this setting. She proceeds to make the offer. Ji comments that it appears you have developed a great fondness for this place since morning. Suji begins to appreciate it even more, influenced by his words. Tej mentions that if you are so fond of this place, you might not realize that Saha here is not fond of labor at all. Suji only discovers this fact after arriving there. However, it would have been inappropriate to mention this in the morning. Here he is by himself. He states, "Otherwise, I've started dining with you, and I genuinely appreciate this effort." Susie feels overwhelmed by how effectively the morning has hidden the truth. Later, after the night passes, she finds herself here, her stomach completely full. At that moment, Dizzy arrives, commenting, "You didn't act as if you'd never tasted anything like this before." He's really upset that he hasn't dined here before. Teji says, "I'm not agreeing to this marriage. If anyone is suitable for my brother, it's definitely Sean. Once the machine returns, you'll understand your place." Susie says this firmly and storms off. Susie appears unfazed by the situation, but meanwhile, we're here as the younger brother. Let's take a look at who comes over and gives her some interaction. Suji is also doing the same thing. She starts asking Han if he's not feeling well. Suji then mentions that Han should really be very careful about certain things. However, it turns out that she's actually the one who just made a mistake in this situation. She will return from crime quite soon, and after that, you won't receive any offers. Even though she knows everything, Susie Mani is still pondering over which case she should solve. What is the purpose of acting if you end up with just 2 years? I don't feel bad at all. I truly understand how important Suha is to me in this place, and equally, how important I am to Suha. Therefore, I don't require anyone's explanation here, and even if someone offers one, I still wouldn't stay. Having said this, she begins to leave, and Suha is very impressed by her words. Then, following this moment, Suji arrives here.
He also arrives and informs them that we all need to proceed together in the same batch. Susie is taken aback by this revelation. She was on the verge of fleeing, but suddenly her foot slips, causing both of them to tumble down. Meanwhile, their class begins to slow down gradually. Just then, Kokal makes an appearance here. So he immediately leaves from there and starts working for the betterment of his country. And Suji is still here thinking about Soha, where she notices 2 lines on his hand. Suha is hanging out with Suji, listening over and over again, yet struggling to concentrate. He suggests, "Why don't you take a nap or play some games to unwind?" Suji remembers a game, begins playing it, and then comes back, leaving him feeling overwhelmed, which is quite a lot for today. When Suji inquires, she informs him from the outside, "At what point did you bring an end to all of your favorite things?" Then Suji responds, "Listen, cease making buckles and provide me with all the details of what occurred." Following that, she starts to wonder how everything is going, and here her opponent is none other than Daisy. Neither Daisy knew that the person across from her was Suji, nor Suji had any idea that the person across from her was Desi. Here Daisy and she get their entire story. Suji does not understand anything, but she understands her story here, where she tells her not to worry and tells her some things to do. Then Desi starts her party here. Then secondly, I start thinking in my mind. I don't even talk that much in my mind. I don't even think as much in my mind as Suji keeps talking here. So I go to the kitchen to drink milk, and after wearing the time, I take the glass, then she gets bored for herself in the other class, and at that time, tell me the truth. You and my brother got married together. I'm not present there, and then Susie begins to inquire about it. This provides us with confirmation, and he responds by saying, "I'm just curious about how my brother could ever marry a girl." Susie finds herself quite intrigued by this concept of a girl. Angrily, he begins asking her what she means by such a girl, questioning if he can't show her that he's slim, trim, and beautiful. He asks what she wants to say about such a girl. She replies that she just wants him to be her woman. Suji then says, "Hey, you've come," and he starts thinking there must be a guru behind, but there's no one there. Suji laughs and says, "See, Hindi, you're very scared of your elder brother." Then I get angry, and he was about to raise his hand when Susie spoke back. No, she insists that I'm not stupid. It happened once before, and the second time, after this, Vasu truly happened. He takes her hand and begins asking Suji what was occurring here. Suji might have realized that he is involved in contract management.
This implies that he is seen as an outsider here. When it comes to Han and Suko, they are considered brothers, making it impossible for her to create a conflict between them. Even if she attempts to do so, it will likely end in a negative way, with the brothers eventually resolving the issue on their own. So here, she starts leaving without saying anything. Balsuan doesn't believe in such things. Here he turns Han against him by speaking, forcefully pushes Han and says that he didn't hear what that girl said, that nothing happened between us. Then here he starts warning Han. "Look, for you there will be one outsider here, but not for me. For me, she is my wife, and her... If he dares to put the blame on her, I won't hesitate to make sure he faces the consequences. I will not spare him, even if it's our own younger brother. He gives us such a warning that we run away in fear." Then the conversation escalates to the point where we start heading home, and at that moment, Uncle is there. While we were engaged in doing calculations, we would also provide it to them. Yet there was no alteration in Dee Dee's situation here, as she continues to reside in this place. He said, "Listen, you really don't deserve Joe, not even a little bit." At that moment, Han arrives and sincerely apologizes to Susie for his mistake from the previous night, which Susie thoroughly enjoys hearing. Then, as they drive away together, she's observing a man who cannot be hers in a genuine marriage, not merely a contractual arrangement. Susie is so impressed with the gift that she showers it with praise, leading Thoran, so to request that she keeps track of the score. This request delights Susie, making her both joyful and attentive while shopping. Just then, the driver slams on the emergency brakes. While Sue was primarily concerned about Susie's safety, Susie returns to her usual self-imposed, seemingly good-natured persona. Susie then tells Susie, "I'll teach you how to understand. You don't need to talk anymore." Meaning, he wants Susie to just sit quietly for a while so they can go home in peace. Susie's mouth shuts, but her heart remains unmoved. And the same goes for Joe. It wasn't over yet, so we started chatting. She surprisingly didn't have a headache despite everything that happened. Then, Susie got a phone call, asking her to come to the company immediately. Susie thought perhaps the termination issue had been resolved, so she decided to go one last time. She was curious about which agreement termination Susie was referring to. So right here, he directly inquires up front so what exactly? Afterwards, he places the driver and contemplates if she was talking about being let go from the company. Once she leaves, we notice the assistant, who seems a bit concerned about Susie. When Susie arrives, she goes inside to have a conversation about the issue of termination. Asked Susie, "Are you talking about contagion?" Susie replied, "I came to talk to you a few days ago, and I told you I came to finalize the contract for 2 minutes. Really? I assumed you were just taking a short break, which I allowed, and now you've arrived at your goal. You should return to work. I have an even bigger task for you here, which will be crucial and life-saving from this point forward." Hearing this, she becomes even more thrilled. Then he tells her, "Look, this time you'll definitely make a profit here," and he starts explaining. Susie thinks she won't be able to complete the minutes that quickly, so she'll at least have to do some life-saving work. For this, she bids again, and everyone begins setting up the life-saving. "Assistant, are you really?" "Steam it." To Suji remarks, "What can I possibly do in this situation? I placed the order myself, which means I am obligated to follow through with it, and there's absolutely no way I can go against it. I'm stuck living Susie's life, which was meant for both of us to share together. The stress, the big one, doesn't arrive. It looks at Susie, it looks at Suraj, and still doesn't show up." She attends the holy festival to ensure everything goes smoothly in her life. She goes there and reads to Tank with the intention of shaking his hand. Tank held a deep fondness for Aigesh to the point that he takes a seat in the front, and as the setup is prepared here, he turns to Sur and asks, "Do you know how to handle life?" he inquires. Meanwhile, life begins here, where Tank perceives her as if she were gazing at her own picture, contemplating the reason she seemed so fatigued. A filter was used, making her appear so tired and worn out. It reached a point where all the boys were calling her their husband. Here is where he begins to notice life as well. This is where he encounters the girl named Susira, and despite the significant filtering, he recognizes her. Simultaneously, we discover that he's the person who handles the fruit department here. Basically, all the fruit comes from the firm, and he keeps the best fruits at home. And he also keeps them at home during this live stream, as well as during this time people here. Indeed, they do. The majority of people here receive rotten fruits and a substantial amount of money for everything that happens over 12 years. People progress on their own and discuss these matters publicly, which is when this company gains significant popularity in this area. Susie was aware of this due to her position. Meanwhile, she begins to ponder and attempts to eat it among themselves, where they are remarkably quick with one another. Eventually, she comes up with an idea at this point. "You must be quite familiar with us, and you surely know how much she always praises Dilish. She often says, 'I really want to see your favor here where